Every journey has its road. And every road, sooner or later, comes to a crossing. A sudden juncture, and only one choice to make. That crossing arrived for us too. But no one could have imagined that it would change our fates forever.
Everybody stay here.
Could we help him?
Nah, I bet it stinks.
Just a few hours earlier, these students believed they were heading home after another normal day at school. The story begins when an escaped convict named Pedro Minguella hijacks their school bus.
Is that him?
Yes, been looking for this guy everywhere. We really have to find him before he claims other victims.
It's him.
Hoping to stay out of the hands of the authorities, Pedro uses the students as hostages, believing nobody will risk stopping him with dozens of innocent lives on board. To make sure no one can reveal his location, he orders every student to throw their phones out of the windows, cutting off their only way of calling for help. At this point, the students believe they're trapped in a dangerous hostage situation. They have no idea their biggest threat isn't the man holding the gun. To avoid being found, Pedro forces the driver to leave the main road and take an abandoned shortcut through the forest. Convinced it will buy him more time, he unknowingly leads everyone into a place that has been hiding a terrifying secret for years. Their situation becomes even worse when the bus suddenly breaks down inside an old tunnel, leaving them stranded in complete isolation with no way of contacting anyone outside.
What's going on? Hey, I don't know, it just stopped.
Thinking it's only a mechanical problem, Pedro orders the driver to find out why the bus has stopped. The driver has no choice but to obey, unaware that something has been waiting inside the tunnel long before they arrived.
That goes for you lot too.
Before anyone has the chance to come up with another plan, the tunnel is suddenly swallowed by darkness after the lights mysteriously shut off. Believing the blackout is what's preventing the bus from moving, Pedro orders the driver to investigate. With a gun pointed at him, refusing isn't an option. Although every step fills him with fear, he slowly makes his way deeper into the tunnel. In the distance, he notices a dark figure completely covered in black, standing perfectly still as if it has been waiting for them all along. The closer he gets, the more he realizes something isn't right. Before he has the chance to react, the creature suddenly attacks, killing him within seconds before disappearing back into the darkness. At that moment, everyone realizes they are no longer trapped in an ordinary hostage situation. From that moment on, even Pedro realizes he has completely lost control. With the driver dead, the only hope of escaping is getting the bus running again. Unfortunately, the keys are still lying beside the driver's body. Knowing every second increases the risk of another attack, Bess volunteers to retrieve them. She understands that without those keys, nobody on the bus has any chance of making it out alive. Against all odds, she manages to recover them and safely returns to the others. Realizing Reggie is the only one who knows how to drive, Pedro forces him behind the wheel and demands that he get the bus moving, threatening him when the engine refuses to start. However, every attempt ends in failure as the engine refuses to come back to life. Pedro still believes threatening the students will solve the problem. Surviving him won't matter if they can't survive whatever is hiding inside the tunnel. Realizing they can no longer trust him to keep them alive, they overpower Pedro and take away his gun. Rather than accepting defeat, Pedro decides to confront the unknown threat himself. Having relied on violence his entire life, he believes his weapon will protect him once again. Instead, he becomes another victim, proving that the creature inside the tunnel fears nothing Pedro can throw at it. His death leaves the students completely alone, forcing them to rely on each other if they want any chance of surviving. Their worst fears become reality when the creature finds its way onto the bus, turning the only place they believed was safe into another trap. Luckily for them, Nolan instinctively shines his flashlight at the creature, forcing it to retreat and giving the group the chance to escape. Knowing they can't keep running forever, the students search for somewhere they can regroup before the creature catches up with them again. Their search eventually leads them to an abandoned maintenance room, giving them a temporary place to hide while they figure out their next move. For the first time since entering the tunnel, they finally have a moment to think. Although the maintenance room gives them a temporary place to hide, everyone understands it won't keep them safe forever. Realizing survival now depends on finding a way out, the group agrees they need a plan instead of relying on luck. Hoping to find another exit, Nolan and Bess leave the others behind to explore the tunnel.
Yeah,
You're really good at drawing.
you think?
For a short while, everything seems calm, but the tension between Reggie and Carl quickly begins to rise. Before their argument gets out of hand, Queenie asks Reggie to accompany her while she looks for a private place to use the restroom, believing it will only take a few minutes before they return.
Here's good.
Sure.
Turn around.
Come on, you're not the first girl I've seen with the pants down.
After giving Queenie some privacy, Reggie suddenly realizes she has disappeared without making a sound. Assuming she's playing a prank, he calls out her name but receives no response. As panic begins to set in, he rushes back to Carl, and together they begin searching the tunnel before it's too late. Their search finally leads them to Queenie, but they arrive just as the creature begins feeding on her. Carl reacts immediately and manages to pull her away before the attack becomes fatal, but saving Queenie only places someone else in danger. With the creature now focused on him, Reggie becomes its next target. Outmatched and with nowhere left to run, his chances of surviving grow slimmer by the second. Luckily for him, Nolan and Bess restore power to the tunnel just in time, flooding the area with bright light and forcing the creature to retreat once again. After spending what felt like hours searching for a way out, Nolan and Bess finally make their way back to the others. When Nolan and Bess reunite with the others, they explain what they've discovered inside the tunnel. Restoring the electricity has given them a chance to fight back, but they know the power alone won't guarantee their escape. If they want to survive, they'll need to stay together and use the creature's weakness to their advantage before it catches them again. Rather than waiting for another attack, the group begins putting together a plan. Using the equipment and materials scattered throughout the tunnel, they build portable light sources capable of keeping the creature at a distance while they make their escape. As Bess and Queenie finally make it out of the tunnel, Carl is nowhere to be seen. It turns out he stayed behind to keep the creature occupied, giving everyone else the chance to escape. Just when they begin to fear the worst, Carl finally emerges from the tunnel and reunites with the others. Knowing the creature will continue claiming innocent lives if it's left alive, they set it ablaze, watching the flames consume the monster that nearly turned the tunnel into their grave. For the first time since the nightmare began, the students are finally free. Though they escaped with their lives, the terrifying ordeal inside the tunnel is something none of them will ever forget.